Holy Batman! Tiki here, and I am watching through each and every episode of Batman the Animated Series for the first time. Well, actually, I've already done that, and we're on to some more Batman appearances in the DCAU. Dragon! Tell them why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow about educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But now, Batman has become part of a bigger universe, and the mission goes on as we enter the greater DCAU.
Alright, and with that, we have our last Superman the Animated Series episode, The Demon Reborn. Alright. Dragon, I'm sorry. Thanks so much for humoring me with that clip. That was Kevin Spacey in Seven screaming, "Detective!"
I remember.
All right. Did you guess that that's what I was going to pull up? I do like my Seven clips, Dragon. I do like my Seven clips.
That you do, yeah.
But anyways, all right. So Dragon, I quite like this episode. I don't think it's quite as on the same caliber as the last Superman Batman crossover we talked about, because I didn't like that was barely a Batman episode, but I just really had a lot of fun with with Clark Kent pretending to be Batman. Dragon, just that conceptually was just a blast. This one's solid. It's really solid. I'm definitely gonna Dragon. Did I miss something in the World's Finest movie, or I'm sorry, whatever Batman Superman World's Finest with Batman and Lois Lane? Am I misremembering? Like, was there something there? Like,
yeah, there was a whole thing, Tiki.
Okay.
Remember, the whole gag was Lois Lane likes Bruce Wayne, but not Batman, and Lois also likes Superman, but not Clark Kent. They wish they could kind of swap.
Gotcha. Okay.
And she found out, she knows that he's Batman. That basically, that's when she kind of broke off the relationship.
Yeah, you see, I figured it was in World's Finest. I just need to check.
The whole thing, that's where Snyder's getting his crazy ideas from.
Yeah. Never turn 30, kids. Your memory just goes. It just goes like the wind. Like the wind. There it goes. Anyways.
See, when I hear "like the wind," I'm thinking of As Good as It Gets. Like the wind! But I'm not going to do it!
It's not quite at Anthony Hopkins and the Father levels just yet, Dragon, but anyways, all right, that joke was kind of distasteful. I apologize. All right, so Dragon, Demon Reborn. Yeah, I quite liked it. It's a really interesting. I assume this is the last time we're seeing Raish?
Question mark. Sir.
Okay, all right. Ra's al Ghul is like the awesome cockroach of the DC animated universe, and I like it.
Classiest cockroach in all of human history.
So yeah, not much more to say about it, Dragon. It's a pretty solid Batman Superman team up episode, but I don't really think it rises to be much more than that. But it doesn't really need to be.
Yeah, Demon Reborn. So a little background on this. So this was directed by the great Dan Reba, who, of course, he had done Legends of the Dark Knight and Beware the Creeper from New Adventures with Batman. The writer on this is Rich Fogel. Now, Rich Fogel is going to give you the appropriate credits that coalesce with this one. He did Judgment Day, which was the last episode of the new Batman Adventures, and importantly, World's Finest Part 1, the three-parters. He did Act 1 of the World's Finest movie.
Nice.
So they were like, hey, well, we're doing another Batman Superman crossover. Let's pull from the very successful World's Finest everybody loves that we can't quite crack in live action yet. Studio worked on this was Coco, a little splash of Don Yang, of course, having done stuff like Nighttime.
A little pump of Don Yang caramel, Dragon.
Yes, drizzled.
I'm glad you actually appreciate that analogy.
I do.
I kind of went with it.
Yep, we all love Uncle Deadly. Anyway, so speaking of the last Superman crossover, little caramel drizzle of Don Yang and Coco on our Coco, if you will. They did Nighttime, the previous crossover out of the three. Did episodes like Mad Love, Legends of the Dark Knight, and Beware the Creeper. So it's quite a family affair here. Like, hey, it's the Legends and Beware the Creeper party. Yeah.
All right.
All right, so background. So not a lot, but something interesting. So just to set the stage historically, because Tiki, this episode is kind of the big transition point for Batman. This is really kind of big. This is after we kind of exit the series that have already been set up. So the new Batman Adventures, they're off the air at this point. So when they were doing the Superman the Animated Series is in its third season for both of these, right?
Yeah.
All right. So when we did nighttime, we were still we had essentially two shows going at the same time, and I imagine Batman Beyond was kind of in its infancy, about to go on. Because at one point you had three shows going at once, at the very least, three shows fully in development, about to be a thing simultaneously. And by the time they get to this, so this episode is the penultimate for Superman the Animated Series. It comes right before the two-parter finale, which is called, I'm pretty sure Legacy. That's the big Dark Side finale, which is huge. That's basically where they really set the tone of oh yeah, in the DCAU, not quite the comics, but in the DCAU, Superman hates Darkseid even more than Lex Luthor. Really, more than Brainiac and Luthor combined, he hates Darkseid for what Darkseid does to him in the finale of the Superman the Animated Series. Darkseid is something really bad to him.
I'm just gonna say right now, I'm very interested in actually checking, watching through Superman the Animated Series, because my familiarity with it isn't I haven't seen a ton of episodes, but I've definitely, as we established, I've definitely seen more of it than I've seen in my childhood. I watched more of it than I watched Batman the Animated Series. So I don't know. That might be a binge I might have to go on for myself.
I have a suggestion for that binge. We'll talk shop afterwards. So
fair enough.
So point being, so this is kind of like the penultimate episode for Superman, and being so close to the end of Superman, you can imagine so Batman's long gone at this point. So this is the first time they're bringing out kind of Batman from what we have left. Of okay, well, we still have the same crew working on Superman. Let's do another Batman crossover, and just take advantage of now we still have Batman in the universe. This is like Batman existing outside of his own show, technically, for the first time.
Gotcha.
And now in nighttime there was a fun little kind of a joke tease at Ra's al Ghul where Robin's yeah, they're looking for some ghoul guy. I think Bruce has been kidnapped by some ghoul guy, and they send him to the mountains to look for him. So little tease at the Ra's al Ghul stuff to come. And on the Batman side of the fence we had what was it? Oh yeah, Girls' Night Out. And Girls' Night Out, you'll see Batman is in the Bat plane. Now, quite possibly. No. This episode takes place during that episode to explain why Batman's gone. I
can see it. Yeah,
entirely possible. I won't put all the money on it, but I'm just saying it could have been a random.
That still didn't land with me, but that is kind of cool.
Yeah, because he's in the Bat plane anyway, and we know he takes it in this episode, so I'm just gonna line up what we have. It's possible. Let's see.
Folks, this is back in the days in the MCU when we actually had to do work to connect our cinematic universe tissue.
All right, last couple dots. Here's the one. We recast Talia. So Talia is not the Helen Slater voice that you've heard before. This is a new Talia that we're going to have going forward. This is we've replaced Helen Slater, who basically played Supergirl in live action. That's kind of the classic Talia voice, and we've replaced her with Olivia Hussey. Do you remember that name?
No, I don't.
Olivia Hussey, Tiki, was the original Norma Bates.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
From Psycho 4, the best of those Psycho sequels. Psycho 4, the one that essentially was the prototype for Bates Motel.
Nice.
So Olivia Hussey played the very non-Farmiga-esque, but still very interesting Norma Bates. And just to kind of set the stage for the Ra's story here, basically at this point in the DCAU, Ra's, he's looking for an alternative to the Lazarus Pit, which happened during that Nightwing story I kept telling you about. The Nightwing: The Lost Years explains how he went from Robin to Nightwing as he's kind of going around kind of South America and everything, kind of discovering himself before he ends up in the costume. And he runs across Ra's al Ghul in an issue, and basically that kind of set up that, hey, Ra's can't use the Lazarus Pit anymore, so we brought that idea into animation here. Okay, so yeah, Ra's is he's going to need to be extra clever to survive, and whether he does that or not, well, we'll have to find out. Yeah, Ra's is going to do some twisted things to stay alive going forward in the DCAU. I'm just going to say that much. I'm going to leave you at that.
And I will say that I think old man Ra's al Ghul is definitely the most interesting element of this episode for sure. That was like the big hook.
I concur. Without further ado, let's talk about it.
Alrighty, so Dragon, right off the bat, I just want to say I love this version of Lois Lane.
I know
so much. So
voiced
much.
by the wonderful Dana Delaney, who also from Phantasm, Andrea Beaumont.
Yeah, Drake, this is my Lois Lane. This is my Lois Lane, like pretty definitively.
Ditto.
All right. I mean, I'm just saying, like Warner Brothers, like take notes. Take notes. Lois Lane is supposed to be spunky. She's supposed to be likable. She's supposed to be full of energy. And Amy Adams can do all of these things, Dragon. As a performer, Amy Adams can do all of these things. She proved it with Enchanted. I don't get it. What happened?
We glimpsed the Lois kind of like this in Man of Steel, but we didn't do enough with her. And we definitely didn't do enough with her after Man of Steel. So.
Right. So I'm sorry, Drag. The only reason I'm dwelling on this Lois stuff, well, first of all, we set up the train the train stuff that's about to go down.
Sure.
But then really quickly. But then we get. I just love the little exchange that Lois gives. You're gonna have to set up the character, but she's just like, oh, you're right, Professor Blackwing. I didn't realize it was you. I mean, I was just joking, of course. It's just a wonderful thing. This whole thing, it's so wonderful. Really, have you met Clark Kent?
All right, so
that right there. That's why I love this Lois.
This is a great running gag. So again, the way they tackled Lois and Clark's dynamic in Superman the Animated Series was it was a little more closer, believe it or not, to the George Reeves Superman, which I always thought was a great choice. Where it's a Superman. I mean, I'm not saying it's purely that, but it's kind of like it's not Christopher Reeve. He's not as bumbling and mild mannered as usual. Like Clark Kent is a really competent reporter, and he's in competition with Lois. Like they have a really they're kind of rivals, but they're kind of they're buddy rivals in a sense, and they're trying to outscoop each other. Mm-hmm. And like Lois, like how does he keep outscooping me? Versus the tenacity of Lois Lane, always putting herself in danger. So it's kind of like kind of snake feeding its tail in a sense in terms of these two. The point being, classically, we will start a Superman episode with the two of them on the scene of basically the action that's about to go down, and many times Lois Lane will put her foot in her mouth. Like, and this is a big reference to World's Finest, by the way. Because in World's Finest, she's saying, "Oh yeah, I bet Bruce Wayne's like a big jerk," and then she gets, she swoons for him, and she says, as she's swooning, kind of doing like a Margot Kidder thing, just trying to compose herself, kind of stumbling over her words. She says, "This is Clark Kent." So that's kind of her go-to. Whenever she screws up and puts her foot in her mouth, she says, "And this is Clark Kent."
She just passes the buck to Clark.
So basically, she's they're waiting for the arrival of this tribal Native American exhibit to arrive by a train, and Lois is asking, "I wonder what all the fuss is about beads and blankets from Native American culture, I guess." So, I'd hardly call it something that trivial, Miss Lane, says Professor Blackwing.
Then, as we hear that, we see the train delivering said artifacts getting overtaken by the League of Shadows.
Yes. So a little weird. Always the dumb censorship, though, because they can never get the name right. It's a League of Assassins, but they're called the Society of Shadows, and I think they still stick with societies.
They're the League of Shadows. What the hell ever? I'm not going to call them that.
So I'm just saying they always keep going from like it has to be League of Shadows and Batman Begins, because why would he join the Assassins? And we can't get away with Assassins, and it's anyway. It's always Society of something.
I don't know. In my own canon, it's League of Shadows. That's what I've landed on. I think that's the cleanest.
Fine. Anyway, so
I'm sorry.
But importantly, a revamped version of the League of Shadows, if you will, which they look like Spider-Man now.
That kind of bugged me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. A little side note, I love how charming Clark Kent is with Professor Blackwing too. Like the whole these items are irreplaceable. Clark Kent just kind of charming people with his genuineness as a good reporter is kind of a nice bit there. But yeah, back to the action.
Tim Daly, man, Tim Daly. I already kind of glowed about him on the last Batcave, but he is. I really think he's a great kind of like yin to Kevin Conroy's yang. He really does just embody the character.
I told you this cute little story where when they did World's Finest together for the first time, Tim Daly felt intimidated by Kevin Conroy, so he kind of deepened his voice a little bit as Superman.
Nice.
It's kind of subtle,
so we have a classic Lois Clark exchange. I'll get help. I'll get the story as the League of Shadows kind of comes bursting in.
Yeah. course, classic, and this is definitely kind of a reference to the Fleischer Superman, where Clark goes for help and he kind of walks behind this luggage rack and he kind of does a costume change as he kind of flies off, which is nice. So anyway, you're right. It's the Lois and Clark dynamic, just kind of done perfectly right there. Like help story, that's it. So we reveal so basically, the shadows. They're knocking out the guards and everything. They're looking for something very specific on the train within the Native American exhibit. So we reveal Talia specifically. Talia leading the little excursion here. She's looking for the shaman's staff. And I love this. So when Superman kind of comes in here, the shadows are using their old trick here. They're throwing the bolas with a really cool idea. They're throwing little bolas that kind of shoot out of gas. It's going to incapacitate someone. Doesn't do diddly on Superman. It is like kind of a Christopher Reeve spin to get it off.
Which then I love, that is a nice animation bit. The little spin there. And then Superman and then also the guard goes with the nunchucks on the neck. Just doesn't do anything. Just not.
And then again, Tim Daly bringing the charm of Superman ever so much. Well, I believe this is your stuff.
Finished here.
Yeah.
I love how Tim Daly is basically talking to Talia, kind of like a stern parent.
As Superman's wont to do.
All right, but anyways, the dream catcher artifact kind of falls out of the box, and it's exactly what Talia is looking for.
And so then Talia uses her plan B to escape. Had something come up within the heist. I mean, assumably Talia's smart enough to realize we're in Superman's town. He's gonna try and stop us. Ergo, Plan B. And Plan B is awesome. It's she blows up the bridge, the upcoming bridge on the train, and has disabled the train's brakes.
And this is one of the all-time great bat entrances, Dragon. I think this is fucking awesome. Just the Batmobile riding alongside the train on the other side, on the other track. Just that visual alone is just great.
Okay, a couple things. I love that Superman's kind of like in an Incredibles position where Superman could easily stop the train, but to do it without injury, he's going to have to. We've seen how other superheroes go about.
We've seen it. Yes, we've seen it. Oh my god!
So the important takeaway. Folks,
never before has that been on our minds so much, Dragon.
Bit of a topical reference,
specifically with trains.
We're going to keep it vague so we don't date ourselves too much. But the point is, take some finesse to truly stop and slow down a train, which is that's the cool thing about Superman the Animated Series compared to where he goes in Justice League Unlimited, where you see him figuring out the tensile strength of his powers, how much do I need to stop things and kind of do it with ease. As later on, it's going to be a lot easier for him to land planes and stop trains and such, but so. Also, a big little pin we have to hit for the big payoff of the episode here. Talia's big ultimatum: stop me or the train. Your choice. It's a clever lesson that Superman's going to learn later with that little clever plan on Talia's part. Till we meet again. Again, a little tip off that hey, Talia's got a plan for Superman that's going to come later too. All right, so yes, bat entrance in the Batmobile. Superman's like, what? So Batman, he does again. I love this. Superman's using strength to stop the train, or Batman uses his wits. So at least it's not going to fully put the thing to a stop. Thankfully, Superman's there to carry the workload on that. But I'm gonna buy him some time and stop him from failing instantly by switching the train tracks to kind of switch over to more track.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Right. So Batman and Superman have a little exchange. It's kind of the classic oh, you're patrolling in my city type thing.
Yeah, Superman puffing the chest out a little bit.
A little bit.
So Batman, I love this. So Batman's all busy. While Superman's tending to that, he's already investigating the car that's been heisted, and I've been trailing the society for weeks to find Ra's al Ghul. It says if you're looking for a lead for Ra's al Ghul, who? And so a little bit of exposition here, but a really cool exposition. This is a way you hype up Ra's al Ghul to Superman. A mastermind more dangerous than the Joker and Lex Luthor put together, which is absolutely true.
Oh yeah. Right, so I love this little exchange here where Superman is just oh god, I'm sorry, Dragon.
Breaking the law in my town.
Yeah, breaking the law in my town. Leave it to you to come in with both arms swinging.
Yeah.
If you were gonna operate in Metropolis, you should have filled me in. Next time I'll fax you my
itinerary.
itinerary. Just classic Superman and Batman back and forth stuff. Great.
I love the idea Superman does want to work with Batman. Like he's all for the team up, and that's
one of the things that really kind of stuck out with me, Dragon. I'm wondering if you felt the same way here. I like that when Superman offers his help, he genuinely like extends the olive branch to help Batman. There's no bad exit. Like Batman is just like, yeah, okay, you want to help? All right, let's do it. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought the lack of bat exit with Batman and Superman, it's a great kind of show of respect, you know.
I agree.
Batman's not going to kind of like, you know, he's not going to beat Superman around the bush with this stuff, you know.
That's kind of the important thing about the episode, because you have two factors in play here. One, season 3 is also like the season of team-ups. Superman teams up a lot of people between 2 and mainly 3. Like, you know, we have other DCAU characters that kind of come into the fray. Like,
is there a Static Shock's team up?
Yes, but not in his show. Like in Static.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, there is one though. So that's the thing. So, you know, we have kind of the team ups going on, but also on Batman's, you know, we are transitioning Batman. This is the third time he's kind of worked with Superman, or at least in conjunction with Superman somewhat. And you know, he's grown a lot since World's Finest. And again, this is going to take us to kind of like while he'll be open to like a bigger kind of brandier team up with the Justice League. But then essentially the next time he sees Superman, that's going to be Justice League. So that's going to be like the implication is like, you know, Batman's kind of open to working with Superman because it does yield results and it's a necessary thing, and Batman's not going to like do things the hard way at this point.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So we kind of go into a detective sort of investigation mode with Batman and Superman.
Yes, of course, Batman with the flashlight, classic image, as we're searching for clues and the kind of the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we tracked the leak. So again, Batman, he was looking for a lead to Ra's al Ghul, so he found where they were planning their little heist. That's kind of where he traced them to last before the train heist. So that's where they're looking, and Batman's figuring very smartly, putting in the due diligence. You can't have a Ra's al Ghul episode without Batman doing quality detective work. You can't. Oh. So Superman's questioning out. You know, they took the least valuable item on the train.
I like that little detail. That's a nice little piece of detective writing right there.
And Batman knows, like, you know, Ra's isn't going to leave much of a trail, so you really have to look here. And, you know, Superman's thinking, oh, I guess your mastermind's having an off day. Your mastermind must not be feeling well. He's usually in pretty good shape for a guy his age. Mm-hmm. Which is a great little tee off to two things. Superman's kind of right about that. Yeah, he isn't feeling well. And Batman absolutely right in that, yeah, you have no idea how old this guy is. He doesn't really make mistakes. And Batman finds tracks, which, you know, initially might be a bike, but there are two of them. Might be a wheelchair. Ooh.
Right. So, Dragon. Next up, we have just a postcard perfect Lois Lane moment. Dragon. It's just like Lois Lane blue meth. I don't even know.
I think it's like the go-to Lois Lane line. It's the perfect Lois Lane line.
Another day, another Pulitzer.
Yep, every time she comes into herself. Another day, another Pulitzer.
Oh, is that a runner?
Well, I'm just saying it feels like a runner. Like, I'm not saying we do it every time, but it feels like the classic Lois Lane bit where she.
I'm just saying, like, if I were to embody the Lois Lane character down into like one line, that might be one of the contenders.
Absolutely, like she does stuff like that. Like she'll have like a little kind of self-aggrandizing kind of like moment when she comes home. Like, yep, that's me being awesome.
All right, but she's not awesome for long, Dragon.
No, before Lois can change, she's gassed by Talia.
All right, so yeah,
I love this mundane bit where Clark Kent's at home after he's kind of helped Batman with the investigation. He's at home, he's eating Chinese food.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it is quite charming.
So he's at home eating some takeout.
He's just living the bachelor life, Dragon.
There's always this prolific image that Alex Ross did as a painting once, where it's like, you know, Superman, it's Clark Kent like halfway undressed at home with the Superman S coming out. It's just kind of like sitting home contemplating things. It's kind of nice to get those moments with Superman, just seeing how the two lives kind of melding to each other for a bit, kind of like this. So the news comes on. You know, Clark is watching the news while he's eating his takeout. You know, so he finds that Lois has been tied to the clock face of Luthor Towers, which then leads to a wonderful homage, to a lot of fun homages to Superman 78, because also the Native American subplot, the whole A little bit like the, I believe, what is it, the San Andreas fault line from the Donner Supermans.
Oh,
We
you're
have
right.
like
It is
Lois Lane with
like
the
that. Yeah.
Lois Lane with the Native American tour guide when all that goes down. So a
Right.
little
Right.
back. So anyway, so Lois falls. Well, seemingly Lois falls. Superman catches her, and we have this ground. Don't worry, Lois, I've got you. But instead of hearing like, "Wait, you've got me. Who's got you?" Something else happens.
Yeah, it's not Lois at all. It's Talia.
I love this. Again, women dig Superman, the DCAU, and I love that fact. They go for the good boy. It's really nice, and they're
Right.
And I love that Talia, of course, very ever faithful as she's still throwing Superman. Like, well, like the name's Talia. Let's talk.
Sorry for the theatrics. I just need to get your attention.
Oh yeah. So basically, she wants to invite him to meet with her father, Ra's al Ghul, and of course, Superman's asking if I refuse, I'll have to insist, which then leads to her bringing out the shaman staff, and zaps Superman, zaps his strength, and also when Superman puts his hand out, he
takes the hope right out of his S-Dragon.
Yes. And Superman reaches his hand. This effect always creeped me out. Like his hand rapidly ages when it gets really close to it, trying to stop it. Like, oh no!
I honestly think rapid aging is one of the go-to creepy things you can do with animation.
Oh yeah, like look at that. Look at the other demon episode we had, the Demon Within with Jason Blood, rapidly aging all through. He's like the guy at the end of that the Last Crusade movie, practically. So again, the other thing, it's always underreported, but it's the third weakness. Superman's third weakness, magic, which is very much how the heck this episode's possible.
That is really underreported. You're right.
Again, the three weaknesses: kryptonite, red sunlight, and magic.
I would throw Lois Lane into there as well.
All right, fine, that too.
I mean, honestly, mostly on the Snyder side of things.
Well, in that case, it's crippling on the Snyder side of things. But
yes,
more than kryptonite, practically. But
not even practically, honestly. Just do the math on how many times he gets fucked over with that versus.
All right. Let's not take pot shots at the man. I know he's ticking me off with all his Green Lantern news, but let's move on.
I haven't even heard the Green Lantern news, and we don't have time to get.
I know we don't have time for it. Anyway, too late, Snyder. Too late, Snidey.
Oh God, Jesus Christ. All right, anyways.
So, this is great. We're on Raish's fancy plane. I love its little callback to a few fun callbacks to Demon's Quest, which is one of my favorite episodes. With the introduction to Ra's al Ghul proper. Superman's been kidnapped. He's been KO'd by the shaman staff, and he wakes up chained on the. He's woken up by good old Ubu. Just kicks him. Wake up, dog! The master.
Yeah. It's funny. Dragon Ubu's he's definitely like I like these characters. He's kind of like the. In DuckTales, Dragon, I had a very similar trajectory, and I'm wondering, I know you have DuckTales season 2 on your memoirs, so little tease. I'm kind of wondering how you're feeling about Gyro season 2 compared to Gyro season 1, because Gyro went from like my least favorite character on DuckTales to basically, if not one of my favorite characters, at the very least the funniest character. So what I'm getting at here is that Ubu is kind of that way with me, with the DCEU side of things. Didn't really care for him. Thought he was kind of a generic henchman at the start, but no, he's grown on me. And
I really love how you came around on Ubu. I always really liked that because by the second part of Demon's Quest, you were kind of coming around on them. By Avatar, you loved him.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not that I really disliked him on his first appearance. It was more so like, I don't know, like he's just kind of like a generic muscle. Like, There's not really too much to the guy, but yeah, he's great. Yeah, anyways. Okay.
So it was like, wake up, dog. The master seeks an audience with you, or something along those lines. So then we have just this, me. I love this actor. I love this is my Ra's al Ghul here. We reveal Ra's, but Ra's, unlike we've ever seen him before, he's very, very aged and in a wheelchair, and we play the Demon's Quest music as we reveal him on a plane, and him saying, "I'm sorry, we must meet under these circumstances."
Yeah, it's this is a reveal, Dragon. It really is. It's kind of shocking.
I know. And of course, like the main thing we know about Ra's al Ghul is that, again, he looks great for his age, which is 600. So this is a big shocker. Oh my God, Ra's, what happened to you?
You really let yourself go, Raish. Come on.
Yep, and of course this is not what Superman expected either. Like, you're not exactly what I expected. I'm not the man I was. So we see, like, Raish is on oxygen. Like, we haven't seen oxygen tanks since Sal Valestra and Phantasm, man. Raish is in really bad
I know,
shape.
right?
But yeah, so I just love the introductory line for him. That again, there's a respect he's trying to. Again, he respects the enemies. He's shown a due respect to Superman. That he would have liked to ask for his help and done this in person, but time is again he's making some desperate moves here to get Superman. Yeah,
So
probably
we get a little bit of Lazarus Pit exposition, just kind of like the usual runaround with Raid, hundreds of years old, sustaining himself on the Lazarus Pit, but it's sustaining himself for a shorter and shorter amount of time.
Yes, and again, this is kind of what we teed up with, like, Showdown and Avatar. It's the last time we saw him. That's kind of why we're seeing him kind of like the puffy desert attire, like presumably after Avatar or something. Like, that's when he started to notice the effect is starting to fail him. And by the way, when we show the effects taking place, we do like an old Wolfman effect. We do like kind of the fade from youth to the beginnings of the old age, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So Raish is dying, and again, this is like an inevitability. We always talk this up, so I love that we actually did an episode where we show, like, yeah, Raish is really in bad shape. The Lazarus Pit cannot always be the go-to. There is a timetable, and after 600 years, it's a heck of a timetable, but in 600 years, it's going to run out. And the effects get shorter each usage. So Superman's asking, well, what do you want from me? And then we have this big dramatic, this great dramatic moment. Like, he removes the oxygen mask, his Tali's like forcing it on him. Your strength.
That's a great moment, yeah.
But again, I love, like, Raish, again, he might have put on more of a song and dance, but he just doesn't have the time, and it's the hallmark of Raish. Without an heir, his mission is all on him, and he is running out of time, so there is no time for the pleasantries as much as he might have put on before. He has to make his move now. That's why the desperation. That's why the overreach. Of all people, you're going after Superman? I don't have a choice. Batman's not taking over the mantle, and I need a solution fast. Meanwhile.
All right, so Lois Lane, she's awakened by the Bat.
Yes, and again, my favorite detail in this, by the way, this episode plays so much, honestly, even better than the last episode in terms of a World's Finest sequel, because we have all the callbacks to World's
Finest. Very much is it's much more of a World's Finest sequel than the last one was, for sure, no doubt. Yeah,
Batman was barely in that episode. We actually had beginning for Batman. It was so less of a Batman.
I mean, I love the last one for, like I said, just conceptually the idea of Clark Kent being forced to
no
act
knocks
like
against
Superman
the other one. I'm just
awesome,
saying this one more of a sequel.
Yeah.
So with that, I love that my favorite detail is that we play the Bruce and Lois romantic theme here when they're like, as he's kind of, it's more of like it's a less romantic setting in this case, but we're playing the da 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 da. It's their love theme. I love it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and again, I love the idea intrinsically that Bruce Wayne has a thing for women who sound like Dana Delaney. I like that idea.
Right.
Because who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Let's be honest, who wouldn't? So anyway, so like she's being reacquainted with Bruce, and what did she need? She needed your clothes. Excuse me? She's gonna need my clothes in a natural disaster to attract Superman.
Oh, that's classic Lois, Dragon. Like I said, it's just this Lois is just firing on all cylinders this episode. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
So Batman finds what looks to be, let's say, like a tar or a jet fuel, which we're going to find out it's like a jet fuel. He finds like something on a rug. Oh man, I just had it shampooed. He's collecting a sample with the old sample analyzer. And anyway, so Lois says, oh, I just had it shampooed. I'm sorry. It's a really nice kind of melancholy exchange between two of them. Like, it's kind of a bittersweet exchange, more accurately. I'm sorry. Like a genuine apology from Bruce here. What, that we're meeting like this? Hey, it's okay. I said goodbye. I'll admit there are times I kind of thought maybe calling you. Do you ever feel the same? And of course, right on cue.
Classic bad exit.
You gotta get better locks. That's again great Dana Delaney line.
Postcard Lois moment, Dragon. This whole episode is like a whole postcard rack of iconic Lois moments.
My favorite meta thing is that, again, a little like that heartbreaking Andrea Beaumont encounter with Batman. You're still following your father's orders. The only one controlled by their parents in this room is you. Like that sort of thing. But yeah, Lois Lane always deals with this with Superman too. Only it's like he disappears to her face, like, oh, I gotta save somebody. It's like she's always
right.
She has the anti-bad exit. It was like, sorry, gotta go.
All right, so we get a little bit about a little taste of Alfred this episode, Dragon. Just a little taste.
Susant.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the last. Well, never mind. I was going to say it's the last time we see Alfred. That's not true at all. We're going to see Alfred all throughout the DCAU. I know I'm talking.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, does he not show up in Justice League?
I know. I was going to say he doesn't. I was thinking the last time until Justice League, but I remember he's going to show up in some of our other crossovers. He's going to be all over the place. Yeah, we got to get out.
Is Alfred the Nick Fury of the DC animated universe?
I mean, all the Batman-related crossovers, yes.
That's funny. That's funny. Anyways.
All right, so Alfred kind of phoning in a little cameo here. I don't mean that in a negative way. He's just kind of delivering some little exposition. For
I phoned in my cameo on Zoom, sir. I hope you don't mind.
All right, let's see. So, yes, Alfred basically confirming he did analysis from the cave, and it's jet fuel, which is basically used for private planes, which implies okay, that's probably where the League are right now. Mm-hmm. This is great. Oh my God, this is such a great scene, such a cool scene.
Yeah.
So as the League of Shadows or Society, what have you, are loading up and out at this giant kind of air hangar, little airport hangar. By the way, they have hover bikes, which is a Marvel throwback. Back in the day, a lot of Marvel characters, and this is Bruce Timm showing how I loved like the Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sort of era, where you'd have a lot of characters riding these flying hover bikes. That's kind of what all this is about, too. So, like Hydra would probably have a lot of these, too, hence the whole League of Assassins kind of little idea, anyway.
Sure. Dragon, this whole scene kind of feels like a blueprint for the Batman v Superman warehouse scene.
I mean, in
some ways.
In some ways,
like
sure.
The way that is framed.
Sure. I mean, honestly, broadly, just in general, with Batman on film, this is like kind of a good interrogation, kind of like, this like Batman meaning business here.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so Batman is showing up here. Like the Master will be expecting us. Then we have Batman awesomely coming in. Then he's going to be disappointed as he's throwing batarangs and he's getting into a fight with them, and this is really cool. It's like they're throwing shurikens.
I kind of like that line is almost like a reverse of "Then he's gonna love me."
Oh yeah, it's great.
Then he's gonna be disappointed.
You're gonna love me. All right, so we have the hover bikes, and Batman's like using the grappling line to kind of take him out and like throw him off the thing, and one of them crashes. He pulls a guy off. This is really cool. He hops on one of the hover bikes, and he breaks the guy's arm. Mm-hmm. And basically tosses him off as the hover bike crashes into a fuel tanker and causes this big explosion, which leads to a great money shot as one of the lead guys he's running as his mask kind of catches on fire, so he kind of removes it. So basically, we've taken away all the power from this guy, the whole anonymity and the whole Society of Shadows angle. Then we have the money shot, one of the best moments of the episode. Batman bolo wraps the guy, and the man's in utter terror as Batman emerges from the fire, and we play the Batman theme. And he just goes and he just grabs him. This man is completely stripped away of like all the great League of Assassins stuff. And Batman just leans in. He does that lean, he does the squint, and he says, "I'm only going to ask once. Where's Ra's al Ghul?"
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Awesome. So then we're in it. We cut to where Ra's al Ghul is. The episode was so scary.
By the way, Dragon, it's kind of like Grand Canyon-esque.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have this transition. I just love that, like, the episode's so scared by Kevin Conroy's delivery. We gotta tell him where it is. We gotta tell him.
Oh God, do it.
So we're in this camp. I love that Ra's al Ghul's locations always have a bit of history to them. So we're in basically this city that he helped conquer as a conquistador, Mesa de Oro. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, kind of gets called back to in Arkham City. It's I'm saying the same idea that Ra's. He has like secret cities built in the locations, and that's kind of where he houses things. Like in Arkham City, we have like the Wonder City thing underneath Arkham, underneath Gotham.
Right.
All right. Okay, so also kind of how Ra's al Ghul started his fortune by getting the riches from this location, which helped him build empires and invest in yada yada yada. Point being, Superman's captured. He's got the big old manacle around his neck that he's being led to by guys with like these generally pole hooks or something.
Yeah, and then he does a classic laser eyes, pulls down a big stalagmite,
mm-hmm.
and breaks free.
And what's really cool about this, too, is I love Superman in the DCAU, he uses his heat vision smartly. He's not using it just like, I'm going to look scary. He's getting the stalagmite to fall and basically try to escape here. He's like he's kicking the crap out of Ubu, which again, given it's Superman, it's kind of fun to see like Ubu always get kind of trounced around.
He's giving it his best shot, It's like A for effort, Ubu. A for effort.
Yeah, I give Ubu all the votes for facing down Superman as foolhardy as
right.
I mean, like usually it's kind of like you roll your eyes, but Ubu actually, I buy it. Ubu's devoted enough. But here's my favorite thing of the episode in regards to something on the rewatch is like. I completely forgot that Superman's folly here, but the wonderful folly, the reason we love the guys, Raish is dying in this moment. Raish is coughing, he's getting stressed out, and basically he pretty much dies, and Superman's rushing over to help him, and that's what kind of got him caught by Talia again. Mm-hmm. Superman trying to help Raish. So it seems like, oh my god, the Master's dead, and Ubu's about to get into his big mournful speech, and then Talia says, put his body on the table, which is a callback to Demon's Quest, where he kind of died there too. Like, as long as the body's warm, we can still save him, which, okay, we're going to do the transfer process. Have some machinery, have a little prism, little diamond prism thing, and they kind of stick the staff there, and they're kind of like doing a little transfusion of energy. With Superman kind of chained while he's in a daze, we chained him to a little metal wall, and we're starting to infuse Raish with Superman's strength.
I love this concept, by the way.
It's a cool idea, right?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like as you would say, it's a great kind of a logical logic, if you will. Yeah. Like if these sort of parameters were in play, I think it would absolutely work out. All right. So Batman swooping in, Dragon. Like I said, I love how this location. I'm sorry, I don't mean to harp on it, but I really think it's cool how it's kind of like a mix of. Sort of like Mayan ruins or like Mesa ruins or something like that. And then I love the canyon wall aesthetic. I don't know. I just think it's really neat. Anyways.
Yes. So as Batman's arriving, he's I love how he's rushing to save Superman. I love when these two guys go to rush to save each other, which we had a whole episode of last time with Superman kind of saving Batman. So it's kind of nice. So the process works, and again, seeing Ra's al Ghul, who's always usually so composed and everything, to see him kind of go power mad. And I love that it does make a tremendous amount of sense. Where Ra's he's starting to be revitalized, but he becomes addicted to power, and
he's never had this much power before in 600 years.
Exactly. Think about it. The logic is...
It's like an overdose of power.
He's always been a man chasing immortality, so you take that aspect of his character and you add Superman's power, it leads to a very unhealthy combination of, like, he's mixing youth with power, and it's like, it's an addicting thing for him. It's 600 years of kind of like a man driven by vision and maybe the desperation to live, just kind of multiplied with like, oh my god, Kryptonian cells. I feel this is amazing. And he's just like, I want every ounce of it. I want every fiber of his strength. Really so cool. Poor Superman, he's going to be a huss. He's going to be like that creepy zombie huss that we got both in BVS, but also Dark Knight Returns that first time. Oh my god.
You mean Henry Cavill's performance? Sorry.
All right, so Batman swoops in with the save here. Batarang shuts down the machine. I love Talia's like, beloved. Of course, she's always happy to see that guy. Oh. So Batman grabs the staff, and he's taking. I love he instantly takes on Ubu like old times. I just love that's the old rivalry there.
Right. It's like a reunion of sorts.
So he just kicks literally kicks the crap out of Ubu. He just does really acrobatic kicks. Then we have Ra's versus Batman. Ra's looking very, very Bane-esque.
Oh yeah.
So again, Batman's intelligence and agility aiding him again. That's of course class. The reason Ra's respects Batman at play here. Really nice to see.
Yeah, we still in spite of Ra's kind of hulking out, we still get some great kind of like detective exchanges.
Yes, and of course Batman saying, "I think you've had your workout for today." little few bat quips here and there. Superman's freed in the chaos. Is like Batman's kind of doing some Arkham moves here. He's like dodging moves from the big guy, which are knocking down things around him. He's punching machinery and tables, and let's see. So basically, Ra's strength is causing the cavern around them to kind of crumble down around them, which will lead to kind of a big kind of earthquakey kind of effect later on. So we have like some cool action beats here where he's grabbing Batman by the cape and savagely beating him. Like, oh god, Batman can only take so much. And even Talia realizes this. Talia's begging her, "Father, don't kill him."
Yeah, it's a great kind of like ultimatum for Talia, like the love of her life or her father, It's
That's the signature of that character. It's always
oh yeah,
between the two
definitely,
forces, the man she loves and her father, who she's very duty bound.
You know what, Dragon? The more I'm thinking about it, this episode kind of like it has all the characters involved are kind of like firing on all cylinders and are. I'll get to it in final thoughts, but I'm coming around on this episode. I like it more than I thought I did. Anyways.
So Raish backhands Talia because he's not thinking straight. He's looking at he stands in our way. Just backhands.
That that just goes to show how out of line, how affected he is. Because you would never imagine he'd do something like that under normal circumstances, right?
Certainly. I mean, to be fair, now this is a completely different circumstance. Like, we look at Avatar, he kind of left her in a death trap. But again, she picked the side in that case. She picked the side, they mended fences.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's an entirely different circumstance than, physically assaulting her.
Raish in his right mind would never do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, there's something that's going to happen down the line. I can't tell you yet, but for the time being, yes, you're right.
Little tease.
Oh,
right.
big. Oh, yeah, trust me. Anyway, so
nice.
Like I said, though, I love Batman's response. Like seeing Talia hurt, it's like Batman's just punching Raish in the face. Unfortunately, no avail because he's hulked out right now. Then he's grabbing Batman's arm, and the staff, flings towards Superman. Farewell, detective. I think I give him a little coup d'etat there, farewell, detective. Now, before he does that, before he kills Batman, before he no Justice League for you, sir.
Right.
Superman. This is wonderful what Superman does here. This great plan. He's like, "Hey, Raish, you forgetting something?" And he breaks the staff as Raish is now distracted, and the machinery explodes. The place is starting to come down. Talia is about to fall in the kind of crumbling place. Now we have Superman with this full circle ultimatum pull that he learned from Talia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Punish me or save your daughter. Your choice. So then Raish, again, he's kind of less seeing the forest for the trees here. He saves Talia. He chooses to save his daughter. And doing so, though, because he's a giant guy, he kind of causes the thing to collapse. They all fall into the water, to the river, which their fate is unclear, but we're going to see them again.
All right. Okay, so then just to wrap things up, Batman and Superman are just kind of like...
Superman saves Batman, too, which is kind of
cool. Yeah.
But yeah...
Essentially, they're just kind of congratulating themselves on a job well done, and kind of Superman's kind of giving Batman a hard time about Talia, and I love that Batman's like, yeah, it's kind of par for the course with all my relationships.
I got Batman throwing a little bit of shade there too with the other relations. Like, yeah, remember when I stole your girlfriend for a little bit?
I haven't kissed a smoker since Selena.
Oh God, why you got it?
I'm sorry.
Man, we were having a anyway.
I'm sorry, Drew.
Anyway.
Oh God. Oh, that fucking comic is just a gift that keeps on giving me on it.
All right, so Batman gives the really nice kind of turn of phrase just to show you the hope that's going to basically formate in the Justice League here. So Batman gives Superman some props here. It was clever using Raish's devotion to his daughter to stop him.
Oh.
Well, as long as I couldn't shoot. This is kind of like a whole. This is kind of an equivalent of this isn't flying, it's falling with style kind of callback.
Sure.
As long as I couldn't charge in both arms swinging, I might as well use my head. You might be, and Superman kind of having the idea, we might be on to something here with a partnership after all. If we were to work together again. Batman's just shrugging off, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. So you get a nice little artistic shot of the bat plane and Superman kind of flying off into the sunset together, Dragon.
Yeah, they play. You've never heard this, and maybe after this, at some point, I'm gonna show you this. Okay. When Batman and Superman were aired together in a block, which is the whole idea of hey, we have a Batman show, we have a Superman show, maybe they can cross over like this. They had the opening theme, which in all the Amazon episodes you got, I'm shocked because for some reason, sometimes when it's streamed, it gave you either the Batman Superman opening, which is both of them in a whole different theme song, which they played the music of at the end here. Mm-hmm. So but again, it was a nice theme. So they kind of end on that, and that's the last time we're gonna see them kind of mano a mano together. So yeah.
Final thoughts, Dragon. I mean, like I said, kind of on surface level, I thought this was okay. This is it's not the best Ra's al Ghul episode, but it's not the weakest one either. It's got some really interesting stuff in it. But I gotta say, Dragon, just on the basis of every character in this episode is like really firing on all cylinders. Like there's really, they're all in top form. Like from Lois to Batman to Clark, Rachel Gold and Talia. It's like I feel like all the major players here just are written so well that it's a pretty damn good episode. I still think I had a little bit more of a fun time with the last one just because of that high concept Superman posting his Batman thing, but this is the top marks for this, Dragon. Top marks.
Yeah, final thoughts for me. I think it's a great episode, more so a great follow-up to World's Finest. Not as entertaining as Nighttime. I mean, how can you? Because that episode's beyond awesome. I mean, come on. It's hard to compete with. I have no compunction there.
Yeah.
But this episode's got a solid plot and a solid reason for Batman and Superman to team up. They don't just do it out of the blue willy-nilly. It's, okay, Ra's al Ghul's a unifying threat and also targeting Superman with the magic of it all. Weakness for him, something I buy Ra's al Ghul would use. It all jives. It all gels really well. And again, makes up for the fact that, like, hey, Ra's al Ghul wasn't in the New Adventures at all. I'm peeved about that, but we gave an episode, so it all balances out. So, again, Superman would absolutely be out of his depth with Ra's, so it's a good thing. Batman would come into the fray here, plays great as that World's Finest sequel, and the last thing I'm going to say is it's very key. It's a very key episode in the DCAU. This establishes that Superman's thinking about teamwork in the season of team-ups, and again, Batman being the hardest sell of all. If he's like tongue-in-cheek coming around on it, it's coming, folks. It's around the corner.
All right, so Dragon, let's go ahead and cue up the next one.
Okay. The dynamic duo in Dakota. The Joker with a bushel of bang babies. Static, starstruck. Can the Batman play nice with a new ally? Will the Joker's new team be shockingly effective? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Static Shock, the Big Leagues. Another day, another Pulitzer.